Hello, everybody. I'm Jalen, and welcome to episode 3 of season 3 of my Minecraft survival world here. And we're back in my jungle base here, and I'm just really excited about this area. As I'm kind of settling in and hanging out, coming up with different ideas for some things I want to do, I'm just real excited to get going on this area here. So today we're just going to chip away at leveling things up a little bit, kind of get a theme established. I think I've kind of got a plan. And I also want to get a mob farm put in today, just mainly because I'm getting sick of trying to get bone meal. It's kind of been a bottleneck so far, and I want to really use some bone meal and spread some greenery around. We're actually going to start things off by just using the bone meal I got. And as I've said many times, I just really like just spreading moss around, mainly just because it makes it look like you got your fingerprints on your area a little bit more. And I just like the mix of the different greens, especially here in the jungle with the color of the grass in the jungle. It's a good combo. And getting the azalea trees mixed in, and I'm trying to be strategic, finding good spots that aren't going to block the views of my good areas for good views. But it really is making a difference just filling this area in a little bit. Then I got going through kind of assembly line style, which is going to be what I end up doing for a lot of these buildings. Here, for example, I'm just going through for all the buildings and just putting a simple little porch in. But when you got this many buildings, it's quite a big job. But it's going to be fun just slowly but surely chipping away at these things and getting little details added at a time. And by the end, I plan on it being a fairly detailed area. I wanted to get some flower pots put in. I was not really knowing what I wanted to do with this little awkward spot. I almost was going to extend the road over there, but I decided to put this weird shaped flower pot. And I'm having fun using the shelves here. I think we're all in agreement they're a really good building block addition to the game here. But yeah, we'll come back through and plant all the flowers because I was in planter box building mode, so I went through all the buildings and gave them something. Having to strip the wood as I went to make the shelves, but I just think they look really good. And I did pick a few spots and use leaves just to change things up a little bit, and I like how this looks as well. Finally went around and planted a bunch of flowers. Again, wishing I had a little more bone meal for some more taller flowers. I like filling the spots with the leaves with the tall flowers. But just getting this little bit more color mixed in just looks really good, and slowly but surely the buildings are starting to look a little more established. Then I got sidetracked wanting to kind of work on a couple of these rock walls, or just where the path meets the wall. Needed a little bit of terraforming, and yeah, put a little work in here, but I think it was worth it. I think it looks really good, and we'll come and greenify the area at some point. But then I got even more sidetracked and wanted to get going on this wall down here. I think we got it looking pretty decent as well. Then I figured I'd gone this far, went ahead and got going on a path down here for this level, and we'll put some buildings along here at some point, but even just getting this path put in, pretty big project here. I like the way this wraps around and drops down here. And yeah, like I said, we'll pick a few spots for some buildings and a few spots for some greenery, trying to have a good mix. Getting the path put in just really helps me visualize things and be able to pick out where I want to put things. But then I went ahead and just kept on going and thought I'd meet the path up with the rest of the path network and work my way up this hill on the backside. I had to put a couple staircases in. Good amount of terraforming to make all this work. But it is going to be cool having everything all linked up. And like I mentioned last episode, I'm really happy I'm going with the 5 wide path, even though it is a little bit more work, but it definitely just well worth it. I think it just looks a lot better than going with the 3 wide path like I was doing for so many years. And it feels good to be getting this established. One of those fun Minecraft projects where you just kind of get going on one thing and it leads into another. I was not planning on getting all this laid out, but yeah, you can see the path come down here, and this will extend down this direction. And then this whole path, which will have, I'm thinking buildings over in this area, and then probably some greenery over in the left side here a little bit. But come up here, little staircase. Just liking the way it's all connected, and this is all set up to extend out this direction. We're going to fill this whole jungle eventually. That's my plan. It's cool to have it link up here and getting the flowers added, and just slowly but surely it's coming to life up here. I think it's looking really cool. But yeah, we have this path that connects over here as well, which there was kind of a little natural cavern here that has been wanting me to get this path, so I did a little terraforming to make this work and have it come out the back side of the mountain here. And there's a really cool area down here as well. You got a couple mountains over there, plus when you're down there you're looking at the jungle mountains up here, so definitely a cool area down there. But yeah, you might notice I'm at level 31. After all those deaths in episode 1, it was a long time coming to get to this point, but yeah, I figured I better get going on working towards getting some things enchanted here, and this sent me in a few different directions. Starting with that, I wanted to go down and try to find a few more diamonds. But then once I found them, I figured I better just wait until I have a fortune pickaxe, since I have enough diamonds to make a few tools anyway. But while I was down here, get a bunch of tuff and just getting some more materials. And I didn't have much luck with diamonds other than these two. But like I said, I'll come back down when I actually have a fortune pickaxe. But I did come across this little lava pocket and went ahead and got a bunch of obsidian, because not only was I going to need it to make an enchanting table, but I want to go to the nether at some point. But to make an enchanting table, I needed a bunch of sugar cane, which I have not been doing a very good job of keeping up on. Not a good job at all, actually, so I went around the old-fashioned style and just got a bunch along the ocean down here. And it was fun going along the boat. We definitely have some cool views, lots of really cool mountains along this ocean here. Another set of mountains over here. Cool flower forests. Just really cool mountains along this ocean. And it is fun not having the elytra a little bit. I'm going to probably go this whole 500 days without it. Did find this village as well. A good place to sleep. I'll go ahead and save you me going through and raiding the village. I didn't find much interesting. And take a peek over the hill, more ocean, get a few plants along the way. But mainly sugarcane was my mission. I did use some bone meal for the last few just because it was kind of far and few between to find on that trip there. And I decided I was going to go ahead and turn this building here into my little enchanting room. And that's going to be fun, just taking all these little buildings and just giving them all their own individual little purpose. And that's kind of my plan for this area. So here's example number 1, turning this into my little enchanting building. And let's get our first tools enchanted. And I went through all of them and I just wasn't getting much good options. I want to get fortune on a pickaxe, looting 3 on a sword would be good. Silk touch on a pickaxe would be good. But I ended up going with a book because I wasn't getting anything I wanted. Then I got organized, got 1 chest of enchanted stuff, 1 chest of stuff to enchant. Then I was going to just try to kill some mobs to get back up to level 30, but that was taking way too long. So I went down into my cave from last episode. I knew I had this big cavern with just a bunch of available skulk without shrieker, so it was going to be easy access to just get a bunch of skulk, and it's actually a really good way to get levels. But once again, I wasn't having much luck with my enchants, and so I took a looting 3 on a book, but it sucks because it gave me knockback, which I hate to have on my sword. So I don't even know if I'm going to use that book on a sword. And I kept going and just wasn't getting much luck. I was having horrible enchanting luck, so I'm using level 1 enchants just to unlock the next thing, and I just went back down and get back up to level 34 so I could have a few chances to enchant up there. I did find a few diamonds. This actually might be a decent way to find diamonds, just because you're exposing a bunch of stone that wasn't exposed to air. Once again, horrible luck, but I did get protection 4 on a book. And then I'm just enchanting a few shovels, again, mainly just to get to the next enchant. You can see how many I've gone through without getting anything I want necessarily. But I did find a few more diamonds. Had to waste more enchants on a shovel. Got a decent shovel on that one though. Just searching, and then finally I get Fortune 2 on a pickaxe, which I usually pass on Fortune 2, but it's taken so long to get to this point. I just wanted to have Fortune on something so I could at least go down and get a few more diamonds and not feel so bad about mining diamonds and stuff at this point. Fortune 2 is a lot better than nothing, that's for sure. For example, right here, we got 4 on those 2. And I went and finished making my set of armor and tools, so I've got all the stuff made. Now I just need to work on getting it all enchanted, and I'm not going to really use it or wear it until I've got a full set of everything. But yeah, I had mentioned I wanted to build a mob farm, and I was thinking this building would be a good one to hide it in because it's got plenty of space if I dig things out to really get some room for some spawning platforms. And this ended up being a fairly big project, and I've really enjoyed making some mob farms. I didn't make a mob farm in all my Minecraft career until just a few months ago at this point, but I am really having fun just sneaking a mob farm in around my area. It doesn't have to be the most efficient mob farm you've ever seen, but just to have something producing in the background, and definitely works out nice. We got a few good sized platforms dug out here, and I got the middle of them dug out that we'll put trapdoors in and have them fall down here to where I'll have a water system bringing them this direction. And then this is going to be the room that I have them drop in and pick up my items. So here's where I'll plan on them dropping. But to make that work, I was going to need some soul sand, so that means I'm going to need to go to the nether. And I decided this building would be a good place to hide my nether portal just because there's a perfect space for it back here. And this is kind of a gray area between my seasons here, and that the nether is essentially the same area as my spawn area nether, just because of the way it works. I'm not that far from spawn, so I'm just gonna treat the nether no different than I had before. But luckily I spawned in some soul sand right below me. We just took that for now, but we'll be hopping back in the nether a little later. I am gonna need to relink my portals because it spawned me over here where I had my original portal over here in the jungle. Spawns just out that direction there. It's funny, we're so close yet so far. Go ahead and take this portal out and I'll relink my portals here in a little bit. But yeah, went out to the ocean as well. Had to get some kelp so I can make my water vader here, and I just got back to work. Getting my little kill chamber set up here, and I got the water vader all set up. And I'll bring them up here and drop them right down into the kill chamber where we'll have some soul fires going on and some hoppers underneath. And yeah, from the platforms, they'll fall into this little water system that'll push them down this direction, into this little water system that'll push them to the water vader. I do end up needing to come and fix a few things later. But yeah, put all trapdoors just on these sections up here, and that fakes the mobs out and they just fall on through. Again, it's not the most efficient mob farm you've ever seen, especially just being right in my base. It's not like I go an AFK or anything, but it's just so that when I'm at the right distance, it'll slowly but surely be producing some bones and gunpowder for when I get elytra. I did have to replace my paths up here with blocks because they were letting light through, same for the roofs, but that's alright. And I had found a few amethyst shards in our ancient city exploration last episode, so I had a few pieces of tinted glass to replace the windows. I'd like to replace them all with tinted glass over time, but yeah, we blocked all the doors and windows, making sure we had no light coming in. Then I went around and lit up the general surrounding area a little bit. I need to do that a lot more, but yeah, you can see these top levels are smaller platforms, so they're not the most efficient, but they just add to it. And you can see once we block it off, it's definitely pitch black in here. For this sake right now, we'll light things up so you can see a little bit. Got a few larger platforms here, and yeah, they'll just spawn and they get faked out by the trapdoors. So they'll just fall on through and make their way down to my little water system down here. Drops them into here. Takes them to the water vader, then drops them into the kill chamber. I got this tinted glass in here, so you can see in there. I know you can't see it on YouTube, but it's fun to be able to see. And yeah, for just getting it up, it is slowly but surely going to be producing some materials there. So really happy to have this done. Now that this little group of buildings kind of has its purpose, I figured might as well really add some details and get it looking good. Starting with getting some texture added as always, which pretty big tedious process a lot of the time, but always well worth it in the end, I think. Trying to go kind of crazy with the colors here, just being somewhat different. I end up changing the white terracotta to stone later, even though I thought it has its place, but I like the stone better. But yeah, just getting the texture added, always a good start. And my plan for these buildings is to have them be abandoned buildings, because we got the mob farm inside, so we won't be building an interior or anything. So I thought the abandoned building idea would be kind of fun. So I'm just trying to be a little messier than usual, even though I end up just doing the same windows and doors like I tend to do. But the main thing is getting the boarded up windows, which I think just looks really good, and just trying to have a few things just be uneven, like when I'm going through the roof line here, dropping a few rather than having it just be a nice straight line. Putting little gaps in the fences as I bring it down the side here, just to have everything not be so perfect, as well as adding a whole bunch of leaves as usual. Maybe even a little more than usual since it's an abandoned building, but I actually come back and take a few away. Gotta find a happy medium, but I do think this is looking really cool. I think the boards across the windows just do a lot to really portray what I'm going for here. Definitely gives the abandoned buildings vibe, but I'm not done yet. I will be coming back because I got inspired. But yeah, in just by little time there, you can see we got a decent amount of stuff being produced here. After all those nights having to go around hunting skeletons, that's going to end up making more than enough bone meal, I think, to get me through until I'm really stocked up and find a skeleton spawner at some point. But yeah, like I said, I'll be back. I am inspired. I've got plans for kind of a theme I want to get going up there, but I figured I needed to do a few chores. Doing a big farming session being one of the main ones. I really haven't farmed my whole field here since I got it planted. And I am going to go ahead and combine my pumpkins and melons into one field. We got a pretty big field over here, and that gives me a chance to have the big carrot field, and I didn't have a field for beetroot, so I got a beetroot field going. Bred my animals as well. I was up at level 30, so I did one more enchant. Got protection on my chest plate, nothing else. Went down and got a little glow lichen, because I figured that would look good on my abandoned base and give it a little bit of light. And I hopped in the nether again, and like I mentioned earlier, we're so close to my spawn area. This is all the same nether I've explored, so I'm not overly concerned the fact that I've been through all this and using some of my old stuff. I don't plan on spending much time in the nether anyway. For now, I just wanted to jump down real quick and get a few shroom lights. I wanted to use them for lamp posts, because before I get back to work on the building here, I wanted to do a little work on the path, and my plan is to have it be a lot of oak in the path. I just think it looks good, and I'm imagining the whole path was oak at one point, and the middle has gotten kind of trampled, so I'm trying to have more oak on the outside and more dirt and path block in the middle. And I went around and got a few lamps in, which is always a great addition to your area. It always steps things up, and these are just starter lamps. As I build with my theme, things could change. And adjusting the road is something I keep on doing until I'm happy with it. But I also wanted to go around and add a little greenery in a few spots, and we're up to 35 bones, which is pretty good for this point, I would say. So I put a lot of that to use. Like I said earlier, I traded this white terracotta out for andesite just because I thought it looked a little better for the gradient. There's definitely a spot for the white terracotta with this mix, but not for what I'm doing here. Then I went and put my glow lichen around, light things up a little bit, and it just looks good with the abandoned buildings, as well as using some of the glow berries. I think helps with the overgrown look. But the thing that really starts bringing things together is I decided to put in these little marquees with the glazed terracotta. And this is kind of when I established an idea for my theme of the area, and I even came up with a word for it, and we're calling it jungle punk. Kind of a cyberpunk theme, get the fluorescent lights going on and all that, but still have a bunch of greenery and overgrownness, and even the dirt road, I feel like. But man, I'm liking the little pop of color with these lights. Then I finished off by just doing a few little random things, like I said, chipping away at the road until I like it. I really didn't like it at first, but I got it to a point I was fairly happy with it. And going around and just planting a whole bunch of flowers, again, just bringing some color to the area. And then I got adding these little towers at the top, figuring I got my little theme established, and I thought this would do a lot to add to it. I feel like towers like this are a big part of a cyberpunk build. But we're doing our own thing with it, but I think these look really cool. Just getting a little extra height. I think the little redstone light at top looks cool, especially at nighttime, but I think those actually work out for little towers on the top of the buildings, and we'll put things like little fans and all that in the walls. But yeah, I'm really liking the pop of color. I'm trying to have each building kind of have its own little color scheme. As you can see, the marquees matched up with whatever markings would be on the walls and all that. And I'm just super excited for the idea of this theme here and expanding on it throughout. Like I said, this is the abandoned building, so the other ones will be a little cleaner and nicer. But man, just getting the pop of color, I think, really brought things together here. I'm just super excited. Like I said, I got the road looking a little better, and once I bring some mud over, it'll look better too. But yeah, I'm really happy with the progress we made today. Got this whole path network put in, which was a big job. That's very nice to have done and really lets me visualize what I want to do. And just getting all the greenery added. We got our library figured out. We'll get that detailed here sooner than later. But yeah, I think this is a good place to call it for this episode here. As always, I appreciate those of you who made it to this point in the video, and definitely appreciate any likes and subs. They really do help out, and I'm really looking forward to get started on the next episode here. So yeah, as always, I appreciate you all for coming, and have a good day.